Hello dear students, welcome to EduHunt video lecture series. This is Lata Krishna and we are now discussing about population interactions. In the previous sessions, we have seen what is population and the characteristics of population and the how population size differs from region to region and what are the factors that influence the size of the population. All these things we have covered in the previous sessions. And now, this session deals with population interactions. Interactions is nothing but there is a relation between one organism and the other organism. And no individual on this earth survives in an isolated manner, in an isolated way. Because if we want to live isolatedly, we need independent environment. That is, we need food, we need air, we need water. All these things, how we get all these things? We should depend on other organism for our food. That is why no organism on this earth is independent or could not survive in an isolated way. That is why there operate some factors, some interactions among these populations. And let us see what are those interactions. And some interactions could be beneficial to the organisms and some organisms will get loss because it may get harm because of that interaction. Let's see the different types of interactions. First interaction is the parasitism. Parasitism, in this, if there are two species in that association, one of the organisms will get the benefit. That is why we put plus symbol, and the other will be harmed by the action of this individual, action of this parasite. Parasite will get the benefit. Ultimately, the host will be harmed by the parasite. That is why species A, that is parasite, it is parasite. Parasite will get benefit from the host, but the host will be harmed. That is why we kept negative symbol, minus symbol. And in commensalism, this association, one of the organisms will get benefit, but the other will not get any harm or will not get benefit. Mutualism, both the organisms will live with an understanding. That is, one organism's presence will be benefited for the other and vice versa. Both the organisms will get benefit with this association called mutualism. That is why we put two plus symbols here. In predation also same as parasitism. The predator will get the benefit and ultimately the prey will at great loss. Competition, in that both the organisms compete for that resources, for that food material, for water or for other nutrients. In this association, both the organisms will fight with each other, that is harming each other. That is why we'll put minus symbol here. And in amensalism, and one organism without having any loss or harm, and other organism will be harmed by the presence, because of the presence of other organism. For example, if species A is there, it is experiencing a loss because of presence of species B, but it is not getting any harm, or it is not getting any benefit, or it is not harmful to that species B because of presence of this species A. That is why this kind of association is known as amensalism. There are 6 different interactions in the populations: parasitism, commensalism, mutualism, predation, competition, and amensalism. These are the 6 different types of interactions that is common in different populations. Let's see parasitism. As I mentioned that in the parasite, there are the 2 organisms that live together. In this association, the parasite depends on the host. It draws food material from the host. Ultimately, the host will face the loss because of presence of this parasite. For example, if we suffer from malaria, do we enjoy malaria? No, because the parasite harms our body. Ultimately, we become sick, we become weak because of this association. And the parasite, the malarial parasite, will get benefit from our body. By harming our body, it gets benefit. That association is known as parasitism. The parasite gets benefit, positive, plus, and we are at great loss. We face the loss. The host will face the loss, minus. And the parasites are of 3 different types of parasitism is there. The first one is known as ectoparasitism. Ectoparasitism is there, endoparasitism is there, and brood parasitism. These are the 3 different types of parasitism seen in organisms, in populations. And let's see what are the special adaptations that are shown by parasites. First is the loss of unnecessary sense organs. They do not possess any unnecessary sense organs. Unnecessary sense organs are not present in parasites. And presence of suckers or adhesive discs or other organs to attach to the host body. And also digestive system, poor digestive system is present, very weak, or they do not possess an extensive digestive system because they simply suck the food from the digested food from the host. And then high reproductive capacity they have, and also complex life cycles within 1 or 2 hosts are present in parasites. Parasites lo ee 5 different adaptations ni kuda manam chustam. Majority of the parasites harm their host by reducing their growth, reproduction, survival, and population density. Parasites harm the host in these ways. They harm the host by reducing the growth of the host and its reproductive ability and its survival and population density. All these things will be affected by the presence of parasite. They may also make host physically weak and vulnerable to predation, because if we are sick, that means if we are facing if we are suffering from some disease like typhoid, malaria, all these diseases may weak our body physically. Because of these diseases, our body faces physical weakness. We lose strength and we become vulnerable to predation. And not in case of human beings, it is seen in prey, that is animals. The parasites can be of 3 types, as I said: ectoparasites, endoparasites, and brood parasites. Ectoparasites are parasites that are present on the surface, external parasites. External parasites, they are present on the body surface. Endoparasites, they are present inside the body, and in brood parasites it is seen in quail, cuckoo. I'll explain later. And let's see the ectoparasite. Ectoparasites live or feed on the external surface of the body, host body, and the most familiar examples of head louse in human beings, and ticks on dogs, and leech on cattle, bed bugs, lice on human beings. And mosquitoes cannot be considered as ectoparasites because they just have the meal and they fly off. జస్ట్ రక్తం తాగి వెళ్ళిపోతాయి. మన మీద ఎక్స్టర్నల్ పారాసైట్ లాగా అసోసియేషన్ లేదు, ఉండిపోవట్లేదు, టచ్ అయ్యి అలా ఉండిపోవట్లేదు. ఓన్లీ దే జస్ట్ డ్రింక్ ఆర్ బ్లడ్. మన బ్లడ్ని సక్ చేసి ఇమీడియట్లీ ఇట్ గోస్ ఆఫ్. That is why it is not considered as, they are not considered as ectoparasites. And in case of even plants also act as parasites. Like cuscuta is a best example. It is a complete parasite. It is pale in color. It does not possess chlorophyll in it. So it could not synthesize food material. It could not perform photosynthesis. For that purpose, it has to depend on other organism, other plants, and that is why it is called as parasite, external parasite or ectoparasite. And other parasites are like copepods. It is seen in marine organisms. And petromyzon, hagfish, for which hosts are marine fishes. మెరైన్ ఫిష్లో ఇవి ఎక్స్టర్నల్ పారాసైట్ లాగా ఆర్ ఎక్టోపారాసైట్స్ లాగా ఉంటాయి. ఎనీవే, ద ఎండోపారాసైట్స్. ఎక్టోపారాసైట్స్ అంటే బాడీ సర్ఫేస్ మీద ఉంటాయి. ఎండోపారాసైట్స్ అంటే దే ఆర్ ప్రెజెంట్ ఇన్సైడ్ ద బాడీ. Endoparasites live inside the body, host body, and their morphological, anatomical features are greatly simplified. They are very much simplified, and their life cycles are more complex because of their extreme specialization, and their reproductive potential is very, very high when compared to other parasites. And they can be monogenetic, that means they'll have only one host, and or digenetic involving two hosts. For example, mosquito has Plasmodium vivax or Plasmodium falciparum, Plasmodium ovale, Plasmodium malariae. These are the species of protozoan organisms which cause malaria. There are 4 different species of Plasmodium which cause malaria. And this malarial parasite use 2 hosts. One is the human being, other is Anopheles, female Anopheles mosquito. And the common monogenetic endoparasites are Ascaris, that is nematode. Ascaris, it is present in intestine, small intestine, and Entamoeba present in large intestine. And the familiar digenetic endoparasites are tapeworm, Taenia solium, tapeworm, and Fasciola hepatica, liver fluke. These are best examples of parasites, digenetic parasites, and they are present. Taenia solium is internal parasite. It is a digenetic parasite. It is present in intestine. And the second parasite, that is Fasciola hepatica, called liver fluke, it depends on liver. It damages it. And the Plasmodium is also a digenetic parasite, endoparasite in human, which uses human as one of the hosts and Anopheles, female Anopheles mosquito as the second host. The filarial worm, Wuchereria bancrofti, is similarly a lymph parasite. It is also a lymph parasite. And as I said, the third category of parasite, that is brood parasite, quail or cuckoo. It is a brood parasite. Brood parasite అని ఎందుకన్నామంటే మీకు తెలిసే ఉంటుంది, the eggs laid by this quail is not hatched by quail. they are hatched. Incubation is done by crows. అంతే కదా, కాకి పొదుగుతుంది ఈ కోయిల గుడ్లని, అందుకని బ్రూడ్ పారసైట్ అన్నాం. ఇట్ డిపెండ్స్ ఆన్ క్రో ఫర్ incubation, for hatching. And eggs in the nest of the host crow who incubates them. The egg of the parasitic bird, that is quail here, quail has evolved resemblances with the host egg. Ante the crow could not be able to differentiate its own egg and quail's egg. That is why there is a resemblance with the egg of quail and the egg of crow. Shape, size, color and all these features are similar with each other. And next association is commensalism. As I mentioned in previous discussion that there is a table showing various associations. Under that, commensalism is there. The commensalism, in that the organism, one of the organisms will get benefit and the other will not get any loss or benefit. That is neutral. For the other organism, there is no loss and no gain. This kind of interaction is known as commensalism. Commensalism is nothing but the association between organisms. One of the organisms will get benefit because of this association and the second will not get any benefit or loss because of the presence of the other organism. And example is in case of animals, the association of egret, it is a bird, and the cattle. It is the classical example of commensalism. As the cattle move during grazing, they stir up and flush out the insects from the vegetation with in which otherwise the egret will not be able to identify the insect. And before అంటే క్యాటిల్ గ్రేజింగ్ చేసేటప్పుడు అది ఇలా మేస్తూ ఉంటుంది కదా, మేస్తూ ఉండడం వల్ల ఇన్సెక్ట్స్ అన్నీ కూడా మూవ్ అవుతాయి, జస్ట్ ఒక ఫ్లాష్ లాగా మూవ్ అవుతాయి. అలా మూవ్ అవడం వల్ల ఎగ్రెట్ దాన్ని ఈజీగా ఫైండ్ అవుట్ చేసి క్యాచ్ చేస్తుంది. దట్ ఈస్ అలా చేయడం వల్ల దీనికి లాసు లేదు, అంటే ఈ క్యాటిల్కి లాసు లేదు, గెయిన్ లేదు, బట్ ద అదర్ ఆర్గానిజం విల్ it is getting the benefit because of this action. This is called commensalism. అంటే క్యాటిల్ గ్రేజింగ్ చేసేటప్పుడు కదలిక వల్ల అక్కడ మూవ్ అవుతాయి ఇన్సెక్ట్స్. సో దానివల్ల అది అలా మూవ్ చేయడం వల్ల కౌకి లాభం లేదు, క్యాటిల్కి లాభం లేదు, లాస్ లేదు, బట్ అలా మూవ్ చేయడం వల్ల ఇన్సెక్ట్స్ మూవ్ అవ్వడం వల్ల ఆ ప్రెజెన్స్ని ఇవి పసిగట్టి బర్డ్స్ క్యాచ్ చేస్తాయి. దట్ ఈస్ ద బెనిఫిట్ గెటింగ్ బికాస్ ఆఫ్ దిస్ అసోసియేషన్. అండ్ ద క్యాటిల్ గెట్స్ నో బెనిఫిట్ ఫ్రమ్ ద ఎగ్రెట్. దీనివల్ల ఎగ్రెట్ నుంచి రిటర్న్ గిఫ్ట్ ఏమీ రావట్లేదు, ఓన్లీ ఇట్ ఈస్ బెనిఫిటింగ్, ఇట్ ఈస్ గెటింగ్ బెనిఫిట్ బికాస్ ఆఫ్ దిస్ క్యాటిల్. The other examples of commensalism is clownfish hiding in the colony of sea anemone, and orchids growing as epiphytes on mango trees. Yes, mango trees. And barnacles growing on the whale, back of the whale. These are the examples of commensalism. ఇక్కడ మనకి సీ అనిమోన్ కానీ, మ్యాంగో ట్రీ కానీ, వేల్ కానీ ఎలాంటి బెనిఫిట్ పొందట్లేదు, బట్ ఇన్ టర్న్ ద ఆర్గానిజమ్స్ విచ్ ఆర్ ప్రెజెంట్ ఆన్ దీస్ ద మ్యాంగో ట్రీ ఆర్ సీ అనిమోన్ ఆర్ ద వేల్, దీస్ ఆర్ నాట్ గెటింగ్ ఎనీ బెనిఫిట్, బట్ ద అదర్ ఆర్గానిజమ్స్ ఆర్ గెటింగ్ బెనిఫిట్. బట్ అలా అని ఇవి లాస్ కూడా, హార్మ్ కూడా జరగట్లేదు వీటికి. దట్ ఈస్ వై we say that this association, because of this association, only one of the organisms will get the benefit, the other organism will not get benefit. At the same time, it is not getting any harm because of the presence of other organism. And the next association is mutualism. Mutualism మ్యూచువల్ ఫండ్స్ అంటాం కదా. సో అలా మ్యూచువలిజం, దెర్ ఈస్ అన్ అండర్స్టాండ్ బిట్వీన్ the two organisms of the association. One organism is getting benefit because of that organism, other organism, and the second also getting from the first organism. They survive like exam పెట్టామనుకోండి, we are giving two essays. We ask you to learn 2 essays and write examination tomorrow. What you do, if you and your friend are there, you plan to read only first question and your friend will read the second question, and at the time of examination you will tell her the first question and she will tell you the second question. So in this way both of you getting the same result, both of you getting benefit because of this understanding. But it is not possible because our eyes watch on you always. It is not possible. This kind of cheating will not give you good result. Anyway, mutualism ante example, రెండు ఆర్గానిజమ్స్ కూడా బెనిఫిట్ పొందుతాయి. ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ప్లాంట్స్లో చూస్తే lichens are best examples of this symbiosis or mutualism. Symbiosis antam, mutualism ante symbiosis. Symbiosis annam. In such relationship between fungus and algae, oka algal partner fungal partner untayi. Ee rendu association valla algal partner will give food for the fungus and fungus will provide water for the algal partner. And also mycorrhizae, myco means fungus, rhizae ante root, root associated fungi. Root association valla roots ఏం చేస్తాయంటే the fungal association makes the roots easily take the nutrients from the soil. It enables the easy uptake of nutrients from the soil. And similar association between fungus and roots of higher plants, and fungi here helps the plant to absorb essential nutrients from the soil while the plant provides the food to the fungus. That is association. That is both the organisms are getting benefit. This is plus association. Both the organisms of this association getting benefit. And co-evolution కూడా చూస్తాము ఈ మ్యూచువలిజంలో. In many species, fig trees, there is a close one-to-one relationship with the species of wasps. Wasps ante insects for pollination, one-to-one pollination. And the female wasp pollinates the fig inflorescence. Inflorescence is nothing but group of flowers, bunch of flowers that forms inflorescence while searching for suitable site for egg laying. Insects, wasps egg laying కోసం సూటబుల్ సైట్ చూస్తూ ఈ ఇన్ఫ్లోరసెన్స్లో ఉన్న ఫ్లవర్స్ని విజిట్ చేస్తాయి. అలా విజిట్ చేయడం వల్ల రెండు బెనిఫిట్ పొందుతున్నాయి. ఏ రకంగా అంటే వాస్ప్కి సూటబుల్ సైట్ దొరుకుతుంది ఎగ్ లేయింగ్ కోసం. అట్ ద సేమ్ టైమ్ ద ఫ్లవర్స్ పాలినేటెడ్ విత్ ద మూమెంట్ ఆఫ్ దిస్ వాస్ప్. దట్ ఈస్ అనదర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్. And some plants have evolved species structures for pollination by insects like bees, butterflies and bumblebees. ఇవన్నీ కూడా co-evolution అంటున్నాం. అంటే ఇన్సెక్ట్ ఈ అసోసియేషన్లో the organisms which are participating in this association are evolving, modifying. అక్కడ హోస్ట్లో మోడిఫికేషన్ అంటే ఒక ఆర్గానిజంలో మోడిఫికేషన్ వస్తే ప్యారలల్గా ఇంకో ఆర్గానిజంలో కూడా మోడిఫికేషన్ వస్తుంది. దట్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ co-evolution. And this is about the mutualism, my dear children. I hope you all understood about the associations so far discussed in this session. One is the parasitism. In this association, one organism gets benefit and the other ultimately gets loss. And in second association, that is commensalism, one organism is getting benefit and the other organism neutral, that is zero, that is not getting any benefit or loss. And in case of third association, that is mutualism, both the organisms of this association are getting benefit. With this, I finish my task for today. In the next session, we'll meet with some more examples of mutualism and some more associations. Goodbye.